Okay, welcome back, guys. So I have good news and bad news. Let's start with the good news. So we're on the final table in the 64-player Vintage Cube tournament. That's awesome. The bad news is my OBS and MTGO crashed at the same time, but the icons were still visible, so I was just waiting for the draft to start. It didn't. Then I checked, and I was already a lot of picks in, so this is the end result. There were no cohesion between the random picks, so I just had to make a decision. I saw, oh, I have some green cards and some black cards. I'll start picking like Bayou and Overgrown Tomb. And thankfully, black was open in the draft, so I got like reasonable power level in the black cards. I'm splashing for powerful spells like Hexdrinker, Fire Covenant, Grist. I have Children and the One Ring. I mean, it's not terrible, but yeah, this deck can most likely only beat like aggro or similar mid-range piles, but yeah, I'm really not happy about that. And of course, my apologies, because no matter how you slice it, it's gonna impact the content, right? You also want to watch the draft portion. That being said, we're on the play here with a decent hand. I mean, sometimes Hexdrinker just goes the distance, right? So let's go turn 1 Hexdrinker. Then I have to think about whether I want to develop the rot farm or just build counters on Hexdrinker. Maybe there's an argument for attacking first, then seeing what's going on. My opponent's pause here. So first of all, basic mountain. Maybe we play against aggro and we have a shot. Second of all, I think my opponent has the choice between developing 1-drop or killing my Hexdrinker. So if I have a Mox, I make a big Hexdrinker, I win the game. Well, at least I'm highly favored. But I don't, and they develop the Ragavan. What a draw. Okay, so let's... yeah, let's just make my opponent sacrifice a non-token creature and get in for 2. So yeah, that was a great draw. That kind of solved my problems here. And now my opponent has to either kill Hexdrinker now or hold up mana. Wonder... Okay, so I get to have 4/4 Hexdrinker here, which is awesome. I like that. The 4/4 Hexdrinker still dies to Flame Slash. I think that's okay. Let's attack here. It's a bit unconventional to try and race mono red, but I think this is a good spot for it. Opponent chum blocks right away. Oh, cycles away Nettle Cyst. That's really not the ideal card to put in your red deck. Okay, so yeah, I like my Hexdrinker game plan. Let's keep attacking. Opponent takes 4. So now, do I want 2 creatures or 1 creature? I think that's the question. 2 creatures or 1 creature? So the thing about 2 creatures is it's more stuff right now, but getting the Walker going could be pretty sick. Maybe my line is get the Walker going. I can see that. So I go Grist. +1. What am I milling over? Snuff out. Okay, that's fine. I'm gonna mill my only return my only red source rather. With the bounce land. So now I'm basically looking for Grist to be like an extension of my life total. Chandra. Chandra can kill Hexdrinker. Okay, that's cool. So opponent keeps a card on top. 4 damage to Hexdrinker is annoying. I'll have to admit that. Now I can kind of pressure the Chandra, force the chump, and take it from there. But yeah, that was a great play from the opponent. Well, not really, like... Oh, okay. So Fire Blast the Grist. Okay, so the opponent's pretty low on resources. Now Chandler has to attack, which is not nothing. So that means if I draw a removal spell, I didn't draw a removal spell, I drew Shieldred. That's awesome. So let's attack Chandra. Force to chump. Then I'll play Swamp and Shieldred to see what's going on here. Opponent's taking some damage here, but they have a Planeswalker. Chandler must attack, so maybe my opponent needs to, Rite of Flame. Okay, so if the opponent has some kind of 3-drop in hand, that's going to be cool. Let's see if I take the damage or they want that, let's call it Lotus Petal effect. I take the damage. The opponent has Robber. They have to attack. So it's like I still have the Abyss in play, I guess you could say. I'll attack Chandra. Still think it's worth it for the opponent to block. But let's see what they think. Okay. They don't think it is. Chandra's gone. Let's play Swamp. Let's play Snake. I get a Snake. Opponent loses 2 life. And it's getting problematic for the opponent here. Fury. Awesome. That was the opponent's last card. So now I'm going to take 5 damage, and the opponent steals a card from the top of my deck. Awesome. Let's see what that is. Thankfully, it's a Swamp. But yeah, great play. And my hand is... Oh, I guess that's like a free roll with Shieldred. I was about to say, oh no, life loss, but this works. So now what I can do is attack with Shieldred. Now I can go Fire Covenant and go down to 6. Yeah, I think I'm safe to do that. Opponent loses life. Let's see if they just draw a random creature with haste. Then they played first main phase. If they don't, let's go Fire Covenant here. There is a world where I don't care about the Channeler. Is it dangerous to go to 5? No, I don't think so. So, Fire Covenant, get those creatures out of there. Then my opponent has a play in the second main phase, but it has, yeah, just over. Wow. My opponent has good cards here. Ragavan, Fury, Pyroblast. Yeah, I think I got a bit lucky there. So let's see if Contagion can do good work. Do I have any, like, obvious trappers against Mono Red? I'm happy to have some life gain. I have Shieldred, Trespasser, Virtue. What's the other one? Shadow Spear, Jit. Maybe Dark Confidant just sucks. Maybe Dark Confidant is just terrible. Because... Huh. Maybe I'm supposed to bring in, like, Sakura over another life loss card. Knight's Whisper is extremely situational as well. Maybe do that. Let's count the green sources. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so maybe cut a swamp for a forest because of that swap. There's also an argument for cutting the bounce lands on the draw with the theory that I need to play a bit more on curve. Let's see how many red sources I have for the 2 cards. I have 1, 2, 3, 4. So yeah, this is going to be not something I can recommend, but I'm cutting the tap lands because tap lands on the draw against mono red can just be a catastrophe. So yeah, let's try this. So sad about the draft portion. That was just brutal. Okay, so yeah, I mean this is fine. If I draw green mana, I have good things to do. Until then, I can play Curtains. Let's see what this is. Turn 1 Robber. Okay. That's a cool one. Robber gets in there. Badlands. That is not a card I wanted in particular. Nice draw here. Huh. So I probably go Text Drinker with the intention to trade. Then I have Concealing Curtains and Grist after that until I hopefully hit 3 mana for Grist. The opponent... Oh, okay. So the opponent's going to dash Ragavan and attack with Robber. Huh. And there's a Fury. Okay, so the opponent's just all in and trying to, play from the top of my library, basically. Sheldred's Edict in the bank for the opponent. Very annoying. What else? Nothing. Okay. Sheldred's Edict in the bank. So the opponent can go... Ooh, Fire Covenant might be sick. Sheldred's... So opponent can attack... I still think I'm just supposed to play my creature here. Very tough. Think I might need to draw red swords in order to win this game. Opponent can dash. No, that doesn't work. If my opponent has a land, they can dash Ragavan, attack, then Sheldred's Edict. Okay. Opponent attacks. It's Troll. Troll is a bit expensive for the moment, but I mean, I need to get rid of that card eventually. Then I get Edicted. That's the one I'm sacrificing, obviously. Opponent can then play Ragavan and pass, I assume? Ragavan pass is a good play. Red land? Not a red land. So now I can go either Trespasser or Grist. I think I like Trespasser. Trespasser also gets rid of Fury. I gain a little bit of life here. I mean, it looks like I can kind of stabilize here. Third land. I need to dodge some of the most explosive 3-drops. Yeah, that's not the one I was talking about. Bloodchief's Thirst. Bloodchief's Thirst, but I don't think I need that right now. I think developing Sheldred is just better. So now I go Sheldred pass. I mean, name of the game right now is just stabilizing. Chandler doesn't do anything right now. Kenrod doesn't do anything right now. I don't think my opponent can attack. I churn away here. If I draw a red source at any point, I can just wipe my opponent's board totally. So... yeah. What to do? I think, what if I flip this? Then it's just a 4/4, right? That's not really the highest upside in the world. Let's play land is fine. We'll play Grist. Mill over Goyf. Yes, kill the Channeler? Is that good? If I kill the Channeler, my opponent doesn't get, selection? Not the easiest decision. Stabilizing here. I think my opponent really needs to draw something, because every time they pass the turn, it's just going to be worse and worse because of Grist. Misery Shadow is decent. So let's see. Create another 1/1. What happens if I attack with the boys here? Is that crazy? Sheldred trades with 3 cards. Huh. What if I do that and just try and, put my opponent away? Then I play Shadow. I'll try. So now exile and exile. drain my opponent. Chum block, take 4. Okay. Then I'm gonna play Shadow, pass. The opponent takes 2 more damage. Yeah, I mean, it looks like we threaded the needle here and had a pretty favorable matchup with our, let's call it a serviceable deck that can maybe beat some aggro decks. Okay, I mean, that grants us at least one more match, and that's the semifinals. Don't go anywhere. Okay, welcome back. We're here with the semifinals of the 64-player Vintage Cube tournament. I'm playing Jund Auto Pickers, and I've won the die roll. Yeah, let's keep this hand and hope my opponent plays aggro. I think that's, like, the only realistic way to do well in this top 8. We were fortunate to win round 1, though, playing against the mono red. So just imagine we kill a creature turn 1, kill a creature turn 2. Yeah, let's just play a snake. The snake shaman, and then, yeah. I mean, let's see what happens here. Nurturing peatland. Birds of Paradise. That is part of my plan here. Wonder which card I'm supposed to kill it with. I think I'm supposed to kill it with Virtue, because Bloodchief's Thirst is also a 4-mana kill whatever. So, yeah, let's kill the bird here. So when we get to 7 mana at some point, we have a Virtue. Nurturing Peatland is not the best land drop either. It kind of shows weakness, unless my opponent is like very like multicolor and this was their only green source. That's also possible. I can go turn 3 Ophiomancer, and then if I find a land on time, I can go Jet Equip at some point. Is this Kabu? Okay, so I think I just killed that Kabu right away. Don't really want my opponent to do that. Sheldred's Edict is an interesting one. No, let's kill the Kabu, develop the Jite. I think that's reasonable. In situations like that, you not only have to think about, like, what's the most flexible removal spell, you also have to think about how do I use my mana the best. I think using my mana here is good, because then maybe next turn I tap out for Ophiomancer. Then if I find my 4th land, I can cast Sheldred's Edict and equip with Jite on the same turn. That's not nothing, right? Okay. I like Hex Drinker, but I think I'm supposed to get Ophiomancer in battle first. Is this Mana Drain or Counterspell? Mana Leak. Okay. Ophiomancer hits the bin. So we're probably playing against some kind of 4-color mid-range. Let's see. Okay, the opponent has their 4th land on time. We don't. Which is unfortunate, because I think if we go into the mid to late game, I'm not sure I can go toe-to-toe with, like, a deck, real deck, so to speak. Let's see if my Sheldred's Edict is going to be good here. Okay, we get probed. That makes sense. The opponent wants to, if they have the choice between 2 plays, they want to make the best play possible versus my hand. Opponent with a small pause here. Sheldred's Edict is pretty flexible. It kills creatures and planeswalkers. And if my opponent doesn't do anything, I can go Hex Drinker equip, or Hex Drinker will level up twice. Let's see what the opponent decides on. Rona. Okay. So with my opponent having seen my hand with Sheldred's Edict, I just assume that the Rona is the next best thing, but I'm not quite sure what I'm supposed to do about that. I'm gonna kill the Rona here over the course of the game. My opponent getting the filtering is just can potentially be too strong. We draw our fourth land, which isn't a red source, so let's see. Is this the peatland stack? Okay. So this could be anything from desperation to bad news. Let's see where we are on that spectrum. Is this... Oh, yeah, Wrenn and 6. Awesome card here. Gets rid of the Hex Drinker. Really want a red source, like untapped red source right now, but I don't have many of them. I'm not exactly a favorite to hit it. But if my opponent gets Wrenn and 6 peatland going, could be tough. Let's see what this is. A play for 1 red. Soul Scar Mage. Okay. I didn't expect to see that card. Yeah, maybe this is also the kind of matchup I can realistically beat. Wait a minute. So right now I can go kill Wrenn and 6. Kill Soul Scar. Yeah, I should probably do that. So... No, I can't kill Soul Scar. Okay, fair enough. So I think I want to mill 3 towards a land. Target player and that card. Okay, so I can take back the Rot Farm. That's reasonable, because that helps me get closer to the Virtue. Now I have 6 mana between my lands. If I took the Swamp, I would only have 5 mana. Wrenn and 6 is gone. I don't think my opponent played a land drop that turn. But I don't know. My opponent could be like low to the ground teamer aggro. Iconoclast. Okay, so my opponent has a lot of cards that can't really beat an active Jit. Black Lotus. So yeah, if my opponent powers anything out of that Lotus, I think I'm in big trouble. If they don't, I like my spot a reasonable amount. Because I have a situation where land is decent draw, creature is great draw, untapped red is great draw. I have very few bad cards to draw here. And the clock's not that crazy. My opponent doesn't follow up that Lotus. Opponent is supposed to stack the abilities here. You want to grow your Soul Scar? Do you want to get the 1/1 first? Doesn't really matter in this context of the game. So yeah, red spells would be a disaster to draw. Those are just straight up blanks. Yeah, this is not ideal. Narset. That kind of keeps the engine running also. Great turn there from the opponent. So their deck looks kind of cool. It's like low to the ground, but the mana requirements is kind of all over the place. Like Wrenn and 6 and Narset, you need a good mana base to support that. A card like Birds of Paradise is good. Opponent fizzles on the Narset. Very good news for me. Attack for 3. Okay. I draw Curtains, so I can go Curtains, Flip, and Equip. That's cool. So now the opponent is done attacking, I would say. Unless they draw removal, which there aren't much of. Like Flame Slash, Dismember, maybe something like Brazen Borrower would be annoying. Wow, Dak Faden for the Jit. That's awesome. And my opponent drew a Mox for the turn. Sick. So this is great because Dak Faden on the Mox means if I block, there will still, get counters on the Jit, but my opponent controls those counters. Okay. Let's see what the opponent's going to do in this situation. I think attacking... Huh. I'm pretty sure the Soul Scar Mage was supposed to attack there. But maybe... Yeah, what happens if that happens? Yeah, then I just block or take 3. 2 counters on Jit. Okay, so maybe the opponent thinks I still control it, but I don't, right? Huh. Yeah, this is terrible. Let's make this a 2/2, then make it a 3/3. I'm trying to make it as complicated as possible for my opponent here. With the GT coming online next turn, so I'm trying to think here. The opponent equips with Jit. I can like start eating my opponent's things, but I think I'm supposed to. This really sucks because I'm putting counters on GT if I attack, but if I don't attack, Dak and Narset makes sure I never have a hand again. But maybe that's okay. Maybe I'm playing whatever I draw anyway. Okay, I pass the turn here. This is not ideal. Yeah, so the opponent had Narset, they bricked, but then they kind of compensated for that by drawing Mox Dak. Dak not only dealt with the GT, but it kind of switched sides on me. Yeah. I discard some cards that I can't cast. That's reasonable. Now I'm on the lookout for my 7th land so I can go Virtue. Looks like my opponent drew another relevant... Oh, there's a GT equip. Okay, got it. GT equip there. Yeah, I just block with my 3/4. So the opponent's trying to like slowly but surely grind me out, which will happen. I need my opponent to brick a few times. I need to find my 7th land, etc., etc. Especially because I can't draw any cards with Evolved Sleeper. I mean, it doesn't really do anything to do so, unless I do it on my opponent's turn, I guess. Bayou is great because now I can play Virtue. That's like a way to be competitive in this game. I have great cards like Troll in my yard. Troll is like the best one, I think. What about my opponent? Territorial Kabu, not the best. Yeah, I have a shot here. I also have cards like... I'm trying to think about cards that kind of deal with GT here. Let me see if I have my list handy. So I have cards like Barist. That might not do anything, actually. Witherbloom Command is gone. Yeah, maybe I'm in trouble here. Maybe I'm in trouble here. GT gets in there. Now it's up to 4 counters. Yeah, how do I win this game? It's just so unthinkable. Even with the Virtue in play, which is sad, because there's only the Troll, like, of big creatures. But that card can also just be dealt with. Opponent passes the turn, and I get to reanimate. Let's get the Troll in here. Huh. The opponent did not re-equip. Maybe I'm supposed to attack the Narset here with the Eye. I think that's fine attack. Attack the Narset. Let's see if my opponent cares about that. They do have to block with 2 creatures or spend a lot of GT counters. Okay. Do they just go -4? Or -3 in block, I guess. Huh. Yeah, okay. I mean, I have to pass here. Now I have the troll. Huh. Let's see if my opponent kept up 5 mana for something. There must be a reason for not equipping that Jite. If that's like Mystic Confluence or whatever, I'm just toast. No Mystic Confluence. Now the deck can take care of my hand. And I can't use Evolved Sleeper. I just thought about that. Oh, yeah. Discard those two. I think at this point I'm losing. I'm mainly playing for info. The opponent's Teamer low to the ground, but they needed to fill out their deck with stuff like Soul Scar. And the mana's a bit all over the place. Okay. Okay, small guy gets in there. I block with Troll. Opponent gets 2 counters on Jite. Think I'm supposed to grow the Sleeper before my turn. Still gonna lose 1 life, but think it's worth it to get it to a 4/4. Let's see what else we have in the yard. We have Ophiomancer. That's really not gonna do anything. What about Nishoba Brawler? That's a 2/3. Pavo is a 2/2. Fable is a good one. Fable is just a strong card, right? You don't really need anything but red mana for that card to be good. When it gets a 1/1. When it equips a 1/1. Make it a... Maybe even make it a 5/5. I don't hate that. I need a very good card now. What am I even reanimating here? Could be Curtains. Curtains is actually... Curtains is not a bad shout. There's also Ophiomancer, which lets... Ophiomancer, is that good? I'm actually going to go take Curtains. I think a card is reasonable here. Draw step, Snuff Out. So the cool thing about Snuff Out is if I kill the equipped soldier, is that good? Or is now my time to get rid of the icon, which is what... Huh, maybe that's true. Maybe I can't let my opponent... Let's flip, see what's going on here. Maybe I can't let my opponent keep having the third path. Yeah, I want to discard the Cryptic. I want to draw some fresh one. So what if I kill that and I attack with Troll on... Is it on Dak or Narset? Kill. Attack on Dak, I think. But it needs to triple block at least here. So triple blocking and spending GT counters works. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, got it. Okay, maybe the Soul Scar is better. And then 2 GT counters. Then the troll is gone, but I get it back next turn. I'm trying to just grind here and hope it works. One could block with the shaman and use 1 GT counter. Opponent has 1 unknown in hand after I discarded the Cryptic. If I get GT twice, I still have 4 power, so yeah, this checks out. So the good news is my opponent's deck looks kind of beatable. The bad news is I'm most likely going to lose this game, so I'll have to do it back to back. But then again, my opponent has double power. I don't have any power, and I probably have a worse deck aside from that. Maybe it's pretty even aside from the power. Opponent is trying to cast Cryptic Command in the 3-color deck. And then there's some zoo cards in there for good measure. Opponent is really churning here. Discarded Forest to draw a new one. Now Dak Faden to draw more cards. Like, what am I hoping for? That I can deck my opponent? Is decking my opponent even realistic? Yeah, I don't know. I'm gonna play this out and see what happens. Snap hits the bin alongside a land. What do we have here? Treasury on Sleeper. Yeah, so the bad thing here is if I had a black mana up, I could have leveled it back to a 2/2. That would have been awesome. But I think it was correct for me to look at their hand and hardcast Snuff Out. I don't think I had 4 life to play around with. But it's good to know. Dak Faden and Treasury, those are definitely good to know about. Whipping there. No attack. So, yeah. Oh, okay. So now did the opponent mess up? I don't know, but the GJ has 0 counters. Now I'm going to go for Hex Drinker. If I can draw a land, I can level it all the way up. I don't draw a land, I draw Grist. Grist? Yeah, not right now, but I'm going to... Let's play this. Get the Hex Drinker to a 4/4 at least. Fairy Mastermind. That works. Flyer is annoying at this stage of the game. I'm not in a position to attack here because then my opponent gets 2 counters on GT and an attack gives them 2 more, and then the Hex Drinker's dead. Reflection is here. I'm going to churn some more with Dak Faden. So right now the opponent's on somewhat of a clock. Opponent's going to play Dragon Engine from the yard, draw 3 cards straight up. Love it. Dak Faden is threatening the ultimate. Oh, it's hasty. Okay, cool. Didn't think about that. So now the opponent has to think about killing me. Yeah, that's what they realize. So let's see. All of those creatures attack me. So I can trade here. I can prevent 4 by blocking there. I'm probably not supposed to do that. Let's cancel. Let's do this and maybe prevent 5 here. Not sure Hex Drinker blocking is a good idea. So what if I don't block here? How much damage do I take? I take 2, 4, 8. Yeah, I'm not sure I can do any better. Yeah, let's take 8 here. It's a bit annoying I couldn't block with the Hex Drinker, but maybe that... I could have blocked with the Hex Drinker on the 1/1. Yeah, I took too much damage there. That sucks. Yeah, that could be... that could lose me the game. Let's see here. Troll is decent. Goyf is decent. I think I have to level up the Hex Drinker and try and get this done. I don't think I'm winning if I just, don't do anything. So if I attack with the Hex Drinker, my opponent's at 7, which is not the best number I could think of. So what happens if I go attack with Revealing Eye as well? My opponent can take the damage. That's 9 damage. Then the opponent's at 4. Huh. The thing is, this fairy is flying. Super tough. I'm trying to attack my opponent here for 6. What about if I attack there as well? The opponent double blocks, then minus. That doesn't work. Tough game. I'm really not sure if I'm able to win this game. X-Stringer gets in there. Opponent's at 7. What can Reflection do here? That makes sense. Opponent makes Fairy Mastermind. Fairy Mastermind copy. Pumping it twice and attacking for lethal. Okay, beautiful line. Yeah, I didn't think about that, unfortunately. But yeah, the opponent did, and that's game 1. Okay, so a lot of like low to the ground stuff. Cool. Okay. Low to the ground teamer. You don't play against that every day. So I'm gonna bring in Contagion here. Contagion should be reasonable. Let's see. Do I have a terrible card? Like, Dak Faden is really scary, but I think I'm supposed to be cutting like One Ring, Jite, Spear. I don't think that's the way to play. Let's see. Playing against a deck like that, I do like my grindy elements, like, Knight's Whisper is decent against that deck, I think. Wonder what my cut is. I think Contagion's worth it. I've seen, like, Iconoclast, Burst of Paradise, Fairy Mastermind, etc. Maybe a card like Rankle isn't ideal. Maybe it's fine. Yeah, let's try and cut the Rankle. I don't necessarily know. Maybe it's actually the Spear. Yeah, let's try and... things might come down to a race. Huh, tough one. Okay, I'm gonna cut the Spear, and yeah, hope for the best. All right, game 2 versus Teamer Tempo. I'm trying to get there with my not very strong Jund deck, but I mean, this deck has some decent cards in it. It's not the worst, but it's one of the worst decks I've had in these tournaments, which makes a lot of sense, like with the auto picking things. But we're trying to make the most of it here. We're on the play for game 2. And yeah, this is fine. I can go turn 1 Sleeper, turn 2 attack for 2, play Bounce Land. Yeah, this is fine. The Red and 6 in my opponent's deck makes me a little bit scared about, Wasteland, dare I say it. Let's see what the opponent's up to here. Looks like they have more than one land option for the turn. Treachery last game was also kind of a beating, because then my opponent took a 5/5 that I spent life and a lot of mana to level up during the game. But if you have 1 black mana up, you can just make it get it back to a 2/2, which is pretty cool. Like Figure of Destiny, because it's the instant speed levelers. Mox Jet is a good card. My hand doesn't really interact with, big plays ahead of schedule. 2 mana in the pool. Shredder. Okay. Shredder's beatable. Let's see if the opponent is also looking to power out Lotus, look with Shredder, and then see if anything awesome is going on. So, yeah. Oh, okay. It doesn't trigger because Shredder itself was actually the second spell of the turn. Okay, red source is decent. Let's develop that. Level up in case of instant speed or case of Bowmaster. And pass. Okay, so the opponent has a lot of flyers in play from turn 1, which is scary. Let's see if they have a follow-up. I'm getting attacked for 3 here, which isn't, you know, the end of the world. I draw another land. So now I can go Chain Lightning, develop Gite. I like that. So maybe I'm supposed to go play land first, then attack, because my opponent showed like Fairy Mastermind last game. Chain Lightning, the Shredder, resolves. Now I can play Gite or Goif, actually. Tarmogoyf is a 3/4 right now. Is that just better? 3/3. Huh. Tarmogoyf or Gite? Yeah, I think Tarmogoyf is better because if I equip the Gite, my opponent plays Snap and that kind of stuff. I'm gonna found another looter in Rona. Okay, I like that attack because that lets me attack. Okay. So now I can get in for 6 if I want, but I don't think I want to. I just want to attack for 5, I think. Then I play Shade and Shadow. Play around Spell Pierce a little bit here by playing my non-creature spell first, then Shadow. So the thing is, my opponent can just draw a red source at any minute, and then Gite can switch side thanks to Dag Faden, but what can you do? I don't think not playing it out is great. Brennan 6. Coalition Relic is a good one because let's see if the opponent has a land. Land, okay, no land. Bird, okay. So now the opponent's mana is under control. The opponent keeps attacking here, which is, I think, makes it less, it makes my situation less complicated, let me put it that way. So now the question is, what do I equip? I think I'm supposed to equip my strongest creature that is the less, let's say, susceptible to a card like Snap that my opponent showed. And I think these guys are very like mana heavy, so to speak. So I have to like pump mana into those creatures. Speaking of, I'm gonna do this to get in for 1 more. Then I'm gonna get 2 counters on the Gite, get rid of birds, develop Rot Farm, return Swamp, and pass. So now let's see what my opponent can do with 4 mana. It really has to be a good one at this stage of the game. Now I have 3 lethal creatures even. Carnosaur on that one, which is unfortunate. My opponent has 1 mana left. Now the shark stays back. Okay. Because both of my creatures are lethal, it makes a ton of sense. Fire Covenant will do it to my opponent here. I'll clear the way with Fire Covenant and deal lethal. So 3 there, 4 there. Done. Then I can attack for lethal. Okay. So we got game 2. My opponent had a very explosive hand, but the things they churned out weren't, you know, the most scary. Now my opponent knows about Fire Covenant, but Not much we can do about that. Maybe they even did from last game if I milled it over. I actually can't remember. Maybe I did, actually, now that I think about it. So let's just double check here. We like Virtue, kill small things, grinds in the late game. We like Contagion, can potentially blow out the opponent. Free removal. That Rankle is questionable. Sheldred great. One Ring great. Wrist great. Fire Covenant great. Serviceable. Serviceable. Can't take over the game. Can potentially kill 2 small things. Witherbloom, great card. Big Fat, always solid, always solid, always solid. Same. Confidant's a bit iffy. Solid, solid, fine, solid, solid, solid. Okay, so do I have any potential replacement for these 2 cards? The answer is just, well, do you count Sakura Tribe-Elder? I think the only one here is Shadow Spear. The only argument could be Shadow Spear versus, I don't even know. I think Dark Confidant is going to be decent for me, but I can't just lose to Flyers with that card. Maybe I swap those 2? I'll try, but it's not how you want to do it, right? You're playing against the deck where Dark Confidant is not the best. I think I have to do it that way. I don't want to lose to random Flyers while having a Confidant in play, so yeah. Okay, on the draw here, deciding game of the semifinals. Yeah, I was about to say, is this semifinals? It can't be, but yeah, it is actually the semifinals. Our hand has some good tools. Spot removal-ish. Pick off some small guys. Great. If I hit my second swamp on time, I can even, start the game by being up on resources. Let's see about that. Huh. Is this Ancestral Recall? That would be a disaster. Snuff Out is a decent draw, but I still need my lands to function. Come on, opponent. Okay, what did the opponent hold up there? Must be Spell Pierce, right? Stern Scolding is not in the cube anymore. More damage. Soulscar Mage is fine. So I guess a reasonable play would be Upkeep Sheldred's Edict. Yeah, let's see. I think stealing a mana is more important than giving my opponent a prowess trigger. Sacrifice a non-token creature. That checks out. Let's see if we call the Spell Pierce. There it is. Okay. Actually, I misremembered Contagion. I thought it was... No. I thought it was 2 toughness. Okay, fair enough. It's worse than I thought. This is probably not supposed to be in the cube, but... whatever. Ledger Shredder. Yeah, I think what I'm going to do is just untap and kill that card. I don't care too much about the Soul Scar compared to the Flyer. Let's see if we can spike the Swamp. And I actually like our spot. No Swamp. So now I can go Snuff Out, Shade, and then whenever I draw Swamp, I have unlocked Hymn, Sheldred Rankle. But if I don't draw Swamp, I'm not too happy about what's going on here. Okay. Relic is fine. Question is if the opponent has one more play to force through damage. Brawler is also fine. The opponent can't attack. It would be a great time to draw Swamp. Let me put it that way. That is a Swamp. Huh. Yeah, I think it's just Sheldred time. That card is awesome. Is this where I go... now I can force through damage? Is my opponent going to block here and let me eat a creature? I don't think so. Yeah, let's attack here. That's actually 2 free damage. I'm happy I noticed that. 2 damage from the Shadow. Then I play Sheldred. And now the clock is kind of on over there. Opponent goes to 12. My opponent needs somewhat of a big play, which is, I mean, Treasury is that play, right? Mox? Huh. Is Treasury the last card? Treasury was indeed the last card. Okay. Huh. Yeah, that's tough. It's very, very tough because I think Shieldred beats the rest of their deck, and now it's like the double whammy where it's even like it does so much damage, even clearing the way. Maybe I was supposed to Contagion there. Kind of messed up there. Yeah, I was supposed to Contagion. Rankle, what can that card do? We both sack a creature. Oh, that was so bad. I could have prevented 4 damage there. I could have been a 10 with Contagion going. Can I salvage this in any way, or is it just over? Or is it just over? If I rankle and we both sack a creature, it doesn't do anything. Okay, yeah. That was... I could have been at 10 life here. Looking at a 1/3 and a 0 power creature. And then my opponent had no attacks. I get the turn back, and I can draw something like Fire Covenant. But now I don't think I can do anything. Sail into the west. Yeah. Yeah, that'll do it. I can't beat my opponent getting 7 cards here. Even though I can say no to the Sail into the west, it's just game over. That was a sad ending. The Treasury, I think I would be very hard pressed to Hymn to Torque first because of what if my opponent has exactly Treasury in hand, because the card might as well be on top of the library. So I just figured I want to get this going as soon as possible, so I have more, like, give my opponents fewer turns to get there. So I mean, this is just like unfortunate run out. We actually had a chance this game, despite hitting the double black somewhat late. And that's cool. I mean, and we beat the quarterfinals with a bad deck, so not anything to complain about in the grand scheme of things. Treasury was super clutch, and yeah, because Sheldred would have won the game on my side of the table. Now it won the game on the opponent's side of the table instead. So that's everything is right in the world. All right, that does it for today. That was a pretty cool salvage of a terrible draft situation. I hope that won't happen again. My apologies. And yeah, thanks for watching. See you next time, everyone.